So, guys, speaking of things that we're cautiously optimistic about, but not sure, are Comic Cons going to be dead soon?
No, I think
Oh,
they're going to be
good.
about comics, right?
Oh,
Crazy.
wait.
Drew says Keaton was the money cameo. He was. He
Yeah,
became the entire crux of their excuse me, of their marketing because their lead was associated.
And
sociopath.
they couldn't let him out to promote. They need somebody to promote the movie, so it was Keaton because by default.
So,
Which, but you can because it was Michael Keaton. It just didn't work.
yeah.
Right.
So, Marvel, Netflix, Sony, HBO, and Universal are all skipping the new, San Diego Comic Con this year. They will have no Hall H panels. There will be no big
That's
things from
Yeah.
them at San Diego this year.
Allow me
I
to
mean-
be the first to say, who cares?
Really?
Who cares? They're not about it's Comic Con is supposed to be about people talking and loving comic books for well over a decade, for maybe close to 2 decades now. It had peaked maybe about a decade ago, where it was all about movies and TV,
Yeah.
and comics have been pushed to the background. And then they started these media companies started putting on their own things, and the pandemic really heightened that and pushed that away to the point where now they just all want to do their own thing. And I'm fine with it. Like Comic-Con can go back to be about comic companies talking about what they do, and that people show up because they love comic books, which is why these things started showing up there to begin with.
But comic companies aren't just comic books anymore. They're multimedia conglomerates.
Yeah, but
So-
you can just send your comic book stuff there. And you're talking about Marvel and DC. That's not the entire comic book industry.
Right.
But-
and also they're not like Marvel's gonna probably be there, just not the studio. They're not
Right.
gonna be
They can
presenting-
talk about their comic books. Drew says Phoenix Fan Fest was as big as ever been this year. It's still thriving. C2E2 in Chicago does big numbers every year, and we never have any of that stuff. Right? It's fine. Like,
Isn't the Denver one on this weekend or something?
But here's I'm gonna say here's the downside to that, right? I would like to point this out.
sure.
San Diego has expanded their convention center specifically for San Diego Comic Con because it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's a huge money thing for the city. Like I'm
It
sure
is.
they count on that revenue every year, and now that's just gonna start to dwindle because there are people who aren't gonna go because those studios aren't there.
And Jacob Javits Center they built a whole new wing just for this too.
Convention centers
For
exist
the
for
New
more
York
than,
Comic Con.
but I mean, like, these convention centers exist just for more than one show a year.
No,
Right.
but they have come
Those
out
are the biggest.
specifically. San Diego specifically came out and said it is why we're
Well,
expanding the.
what are you gonna do, show guys? Like, what are you gonna do? Give people a reason to come,
Yeah,
right? Make it about, like I said, make it about comics again. Have more video game stuff. There's things you can do that aren't revolving around these movies, which, quite frankly, are starting to dip in popularity anyway. Let's be realistic.
Isn't this more
True.
about like the SAG-AFTRA thing though? Like if the writer's strike is still on, like, and the actors
No,
are
'cause they-
striking too, then they won't
well,
go to this?
there's the Variety is. Sorry, I just knocked something off my desk. Variety kind of spins the article to say that like, there is a thought of like, well, if the actors go on strike, they're not going to come to the convention and all this stuff, and it's like, I get that spin, but I kind of feel like these are decisions that were made before the strike
I agree
even
with that on
started.
this one. Mhm.
You know, like they didn't all just decide last minute. Like they're looking at the numbers and like, does it make sense to promote there anymore? You know, there isn't that big like, and this goes back to the whole issue with the superhero movies and there being too much, being over saturated. Where it was like San Diego, they announced their 1 or 2 big movies that we're going to have next year, and that was it. Now there's like so much coming out all the time. It doesn't make sense to wait to San Diego to announce all of it as well.
Well, that makes it more a problem of conceit, right? Because you could say this is almost the same problem with the streaming wars, is that once these companies have enough properties, they think, oh, well, we don't want to make money for San Diego Comic-Con, which is a nonprofit. We want to make money for ourselves. And so we'll have our own thing. you know, and it's going to be the same rubber band thing where they go out, do their own, then they'll have a couple years where they don't have a lot to promote.
Correct.
And it's like, well, nobody goes to it. And it's like, well, maybe we'll just announce this during San Diego Comic because then we'll make something.
Yep.
Right.
Right, and it's not about making. It's not really about making money for these. That's the problem. Is promotion really isn't about making money. It's about awareness, right? And you're right. They're gonna try that. D23 has been successful, right? But I mean, they're the only ones that have done it, right? DC Fandom hasn't really done much. So what's gonna happen is they're gonna try to do their own thing, and then they're all gonna come back.
Yeah,
it is what it is. Drew says my friend has been going to SDCC for 20 years now. With their lottery, they're only able to go to 2 non-consecutive days, so it drove them off. And that's the problem. They're not going to feel it. San Diego Comic-Con won't feel it for a couple years.
No, that is true.
And New York Comic-Con has the same problem where you have to be fan verified, and then you're put in a waiting list when the tickets go on sale. And of course, like the first couple of thousand tickets are immediately picked up by bots.
There's also,
so
I mean, yeah, and the thing is too, there's also they've gotten so big. It's even true with the press. Like we get in because we're legacy at this point, but I know people that have shows that are bigger than ours that like can't get in. You know, so it's you're right, and but JD, you're right. Like people are still going to go for a few years. They're not going to feel it right away. Yeah. But
I mean, it's always a push and pull. Like these companies think they're bigger than the material right now, because right now they are. But I mean, the chinks in the armor have really started to show this year.
Yeah, and we've seen that with the streaming wars, exactly, right? Yeah.
And the last thing I'll actually say in this too is, when you're at the con, you're promoting. At least the mentality is you're promoting directly to the comic book fans. And the movies have gotten so big, it's beyond just the comic book fans who are going to go to conventions. So what's the point of just promoting to them? They're all aware of these movies. We all know about them months before the normies know about them. So, yeah.
Right. Going to be a lot of Army recruiting stations and bathtub installation booths at these to fill up the space. That's usually what we see in some of these.
Oh, my God. The bathtub guys are my favorite.
Why bathtub installation, like bath fitters at a comic book convention? I mean, like how desperate are they to fill a booth that you see that kind of thing there?
Well, yeah.
But I mean, but New York has the same problem, like a whole new wing. And now, anyway, go ahead, Dave. Sorry, you were saying.
No, you're right. You're right. Thanks for watching this clip from the Superhero Speak podcast. And don't forget to watch us live every Sunday night right here on this channel.
While you're here, hit the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications so you won't miss out on any of our great upcoming content.
Speaking of content, don't forget to check out our website, superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast, links to our social media, merch, comic reviews, and so much more. That's superheroespeak.com.
Thanks for watching, and don't let your cape be caught in the door. See you next time.